Okay, so we're going to quickly go through the process of preparing a character to have hair done from Character Creator 3, so an export from FBX, import, and we're going to create the hair meshes for work in xgen. So the hair meshes are separate scalps for the beard, eyebrows, eyelashes, and head. And I've written code to make most of this process easy, but let's wait till this imports and we'll go through the steps. Okay, so here's the John F. Kennedy character, right? So you blow it up so you see his head. And you're going to basically select everything below body all the way down to the end of the blend shapes, which are all down here. And you're going to hit delete. And that gets rid of a lot of things. And you're going to get rid of the tongue. And then you've got to delete history here. Edit, delete history. And now you can delete the root, the bones. So now you've got nothing but the skin. So you go up here and you delete unused nodes in the of the textures. Okay, so now you find the head one and you right click and you say select objects with material. And you hide this and you see his head selected. You're going to go over here and you're going to say select and you say inverse selection. Okay, so that selects everything but the head. And you're going to hit delete. So now you've got a head. Okay, and you're going to grab this code that I've written, which is in the code section in the Dropbox, and you're going to copy it. So the code is hair meshes creates blah, 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 and you're going to copy it all. Copy, and you're going to go over here to the mel section, and you're going to paste it in, and then you're going to run it, and watch what happens. Over here you've got base body, and it's going to make a whole bunch of things. Okay, so now it's got just the head. It's got the scalp mesh, so if we hide the head, it's got the scalp mesh, it's got the eyebrow mesh, beard mesh, eyelash mesh, and stubble mesh. Okay, so we can put this back on. And what I like to do actually is I like to take the head and I like to give it a new material. Everything has to be Lambert when you're working on hair. But I like to be able to see regular skin. So I say, give me a Lambert. Okay, and in that Lambert, it's right here. I'm going to add any skin that you find for a head. Okay, so I know where I keep one. So file, inside my Anima folder, inside of Bizoni, inside of here, I've got a Darwin skinhead, but any skinhead, even Kennedy's original skinhead will work. And we've got to make sure the colors are on. And now if I hide these, I've got a head, right? And if I want to start working on, say, just the scalp, then I can turn that one back on. And then I'll be able to go to generate interactive groom splines and start working on the head. So you click on this box. Here you would say scalp, and you would leave those settings because it gets buggy if you don't, and you say create. Okay, and you've got the scalp mesh. Okay, and here's where you can start doing sculpting and everything. And you want to make sure at this point that you're in xgen interactive groom. Okay, and once you're in the interactive groom, there's a number of settings you'll set right away. So for scalp, you want to set the width to 001 or 002 or 0015. Those are good settings for hair. You see the hair just got a bunch thinner. Okay, taper, well, you can do taper down here. I like to do it here better. This gives you a little bit of tapering at both ends, but mostly at the, oops, I end up grabbing the, hold on, well, let me grab this one over here. And this one over here, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got a line kind of looking like that, and you don't go all the way to the bottom. And then you've got, you can start playing around with all the other things that you're going to do. But usually one of the first things you're going to do is go to density mask, okay? And here you're going to create a mask. But let me actually make the color of the hair a little bit easier to see. One way to do that is to click on scalp, and then you right click somewhere near where the hair is, and you say assign new material. Okay, and we're going to assign here Remember, everything is Lambert here, but we don't want using an Arnold shader for the hair. So we want to use the right one, AI standard shader for the hair, okay? And, oh, I think I made the hair too thin. Let's go back to that. Maybe I went too far. Scalp base, scalp width scale, 015. There we go. Now we've got hair, all right, and it's tapered well. Okay, and then we're going to go back here and create a density map. And there's a way I do density maps that are different than how people say to do it online. I think this is a little bit better. So we're going to call this the scalp, and we want to make sure to switch this to JPEG, and we want to switch this to 2048, and I like to put it right in the Kennedy folder. So here we've got the wrong place. I'm going to go to where I keep the Kennedy folder that I'm working with. So I'd find Kennedy somewhere down here. Well, there he goes. And then I would just say select this folder, right? So now you can see that path, and we would say create. So it creates a density map, and I'm ready to paint. But there's two ways to go about this. You could paint where you don't want the hair, or you could paint where you do want the hair. I prefer to do the second one because it results in less errors. So remember, xgen's a little funny. So you're going to go back to the scalp base where the paint settings are. So this now is in a paint mode for the density brush, right? And you can use flood. We're going to tell it to flood, which means paint the whole scalp one color. We're going to tell it to paint to remove all the hair. Flood paint. So now there's no hair. And now we're going to paint on where we want the hair. So this is all the way on. Okay, and you'll see what happens immediately. And you can actually switch your brush down here to reflected. So you get one brush on each side, so you're working in symmetry. So here you go, watch this. So now you get the hair there. So you look at the Kennedy images, right? And you're going to paint this hairline so it'll feel more natural, right? And then you're going to fill up this whole area. So you're going to paint this whole area. And sometimes, well, that's fine. Okay, let's go down here. You got to now get out of the paint and set settings. You go to scalp base over here, and you go to attribute. We want our density to be higher so we can see this. So I'm going to raise it to 60. Okay, and now we can see he's got a lot of hair there. And what am I going to do? Oh, I've got to go back to get that brush on. So to get that brush on, I'm working in this density mask. I click the brush here. Oh. What do? I thought I would just click that brush right there. Density brush, maybe I just click here. Oh, okay, so now I'm back to my density brush. Wait, no. I want to work on this mask. I thought you just click right here. It shouldn't be bringing up a new, I've never seen it bring up a new thing. Attribute editor. We want to paint back on here. We don't want to do it. Let's see what happens if I just brush there. No, see, it's doing something weird. I want to add hair to the back ends over here. Let's go back to here. So now I've got no brush setting. I go to tool settings. Oh god, I'm not. If I hit this brush when there's a file already made, it's supposed to. Alright, so this is acting a little bit buggy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say save scene. And you're going to end up doing this here and there because it does bug out. So one of the best things to do is just save and get out or go back to your last save. So we're going to go to character, Kennedy, and we're going to save the scene here. So this is just a head with beginning xgen meshes. Alright, I don't know, you can call it anything you want. My binary save as. Now I'm just simply going to open that file. Okay, here it is. Don't save, just saved. And my guess is this shall act normal again. So go back to the scalp base, and here we're going to hit the brush. See, it's working back to normal again. So just restarting your Maya session is often, it's a big trick to get out of problems. All right, so we're painting again. And his hair is coming back. We're going to fill up these holes. Okay, and you can hold down B. So see the brush? See the brush there, the red brush? I can hold down B, and if I move my mouse right, it gets bigger. And if I move my mouse left, it gets smaller. So let's say we want a bigger one right now. I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to do this big area of his head. Now you have to check. Xgen, as you recall, is kind of buggy. So you have to check every so often that you didn't end up painting over his face or messing up your lines elsewhere, because the most important lines are the lines on the front, right, where the hair meets down here. Okay, and let's just go fix that. Give him a little bit of hair down there. Oh my goodness, he's acting weird again. We aren't able to paint in the center there. Oh, that is so weird. I'm not super concerned about the back. My guess is that'll get fixed the next time I open. I've never seen this before. He's got a line in the middle of his head. And we'll fill up those holes. Okay, and let's not freak out about that line in the middle of his head. That's just Xgen being weird, I'm sure. Look at this. There's even sort of a line there, too. Never seen that before. All right, a lot of surprises here. Okay. Once you've done that, you've got this great hairline. Okay, you can also change it. So say his hair goes up a little higher. You can change his color from white to black, and now you can maybe give him more sort of like he's got an older hairline, right? And then you can even make it softer, but I tend not to use density for softening. All right, I'll use width later for softening. So this is just to give us the fine sort of, the big sort of general idea. Let's get that over there, okay? But you can see there's always it makes a lot of mistakes. This is going to be white here. There's no way to get rid of those hairs, and you have to sort of get rid of them using other tricks later. All right, so now if we're going to go forward, we're going to hit save, save scene, and now's where we're going to use the length brush, okay? And the length brush settings are very sensitive, so you have to be careful here. So I've got it incrementing the hair at 0.070. We can just try it out. You can see that even though that's a small number, the hair comes flying off of his head. All right, there's this weird line down the middle of his head still. So weird. I've never seen that. All right, let's hope that's not happening with your first attempts. Okay, so I'm just making his hair longer so I can start grooming it. Okay, oh, there's a line and a few directions. This is so weird. I don't know why that's happening. All right, but in general, we want his hair a bit longer everywhere. So we're going to make it a bit longer everywhere. And he's got sort of a big pompadour in the front, so we're going to need some hair that's kind of long and comb it back. Now the video that I suggested to you also builds guides here. That's another great way. All right, but this is just a quick and dirty way. Let's see if that's just a mess up. So this line here is just a mess up. I have no idea why it's there. It shouldn't be there. We don't have any sculpt going on. The sculpt is just the growing of the hair now. File, save scene, file, open scene. Remember I said you might be doing this here and there. Okay, that doesn't seem to be solving the issue. It's very, look at that, the hair's getting pushed to the side. I've never seen that before. Could try quitting Maya even. Alright, but this video is just to show you what's going on and probably give you a good idea what the problems are. So here's the comb tool. Okay, the comb tool is also fairly strong, but not nearly so strong. And you want some collision on. Collision means it's not going to go, you're not going to push the hair down into his head. All right, so you can see that you can start moving. This might be a little too strong. Let's go down to 25. All right, that seems to be working pretty good. All right, so we might want his hair to be coming over this way. All right, and this hair to be coming down this way. And so we'll do that. You can use the side of your comb too to do things. And remember, you can make this brush a lot smaller as you're doing more fine-tuned work by hitting B and just moving your mouse to the left. All right, so here we go. And you can see that within just a few minutes here, we can get a hairstyle going. So we want Elle's hair to kind of be going that way, and we want it all to be kind of pushing down. And look at these mean hairs here. Why aren't they moving? All right. There are mean hairs around this weird line that I've never seen before. Okay. And yeah, so we're getting his hair somewhat in control. Okay, then there's things that you'll do that everyone sort of recommends. You're going to add some modifiers to the hair as well. All right, so I mean, that's already going to be a decent looking hairstyle. And we can find out quickly by going to outliner. We have no lights. We go to Arnold and we add 1, 2, and 3. Okay? And then I'm going to hide the lights so I don't end up clicking on the lights. So they're still working. They're not in the right place though. So I actually go into my CC3 software, which you should have, and just hit setup lights, and that puts all the lights in the right place. And now if I go to Arnold and say render, I'm already starting to get a feel for how his hair's looking, right? And you probably want to switch to GPU, so let's do that. It'll be faster. So we go over here, System, GPU, Arnold render, that should be good. So now he renders pretty fast when we move around. And I mean, come on, that's already pretty cool, right? And we've got these random hairs. The way I tend to get rid of them is to go and use, and remember we've lost our brushes here, so we have to go to xgen. I use the width brush, which is this one. And you've got to set the width to negative, right? So I've got it set to negative 0.3. We could try that. You know, it's not a very strong setting, so let's put it up a little bigger. And you see how those are kind of getting thinner. Okay, and they get thin enough and we don't care about them. It's kind of my view here. And we do the same over here to any of these pesky ones that were sticking out that we couldn't get rid of with our density map. Then you might even want to make some hair, especially down here, just a little thinner, because that's where hair is a little thinner, right? So it starts to look more natural. We didn't do a good job combing here, but remember, you can do width not negative. Right now it's negative, so it makes it smaller. You can do it so it grows it. So we're going to grab our comb brush again, and we're going to just get Kennedy's hair a little more under control. Look at that crap down over there. This strength might be higher on my comb. There we go. We want all these hairs to be coming down and in. And remember, you can use the symmetry on these as well, so it combs on both sides, but I tend to like combing each side itself, but that's you know, at the beginning you may want to use the symmetry on the brush. So here's symmetry setting. You can say symmetry X, and now it's going to do both sides at the same time. But be careful of that later. If you've got symmetry on all the time, it'll start messing up because you want his hair to be parted, right? And we've got, you know, this is pretty strong now. Definitely getting this general shape. And then you'll soften it later. This is still, so you can go like this and move these back, rotate a little bit and move these back, rotate a little bit more and move these back. And then sometimes you flatten too much and you can actually go right there and just pull it up. All right, that's one of my favorite tricks actually in the front. We want to just pull those out and gives it kind of a curve, which is more natural. So I'm going to pull those out. All right, and we're going to pull that up. So sometimes you feel like you've combed too much. You don't have to undo. You can just pull it back out using the comb, like right here. So this is where I want to probably get rid of my symmetry off. And right here. Okay, and let's get that going. Okay, so we've got this looking okay. We probably want to create some sort of part over here. There's even a part tool, which I haven't figured out how to, well, I haven't even tried using it. But you can do an okay job with just a comb. Give them a part right there. I'm guessing that part tool is even better. And so we're getting this cool hair. Let's take a look at it. Let me save. Oh, you know what's weird? Oh no, I thought that center line had disappeared, but I guess we can comb. It looks like it's kind of almost, you could comb your way around it. It's so weird, center line. Okay, weird center line. But if you're using this hairstyle, I don't think that's going to matter. Probably not going to be looking at it back from behind too much. Okay, Arnold, render. And wow, there we go. Now, his hair color you control in xgen, so it's hair is its own special thing. So we made a brand new hair shader, so we've got to find it. It's not the hair physical shader. It's not this one. Where is our hair shader? No. I'm completely lost here. Skin, standard, arm, skin, standard, head, skin, AI standard. Okay, this is it. And we're going to label it scalp hair, because if we make eyelashes, we might want to have a different one. So this is his hair, and melanin controls whether it's black or gray, basically. Okay? Melanin redness controls how red it is. Okay, so if you go in the middle here, you see you can actually, this is more like his hair color. Random gives you some hairs that are slightly different colors, so it starts to feel more natural. Right, so Kennedy's hair color was a little bit like this. Now to make it truly red, I don't know. Play around with it. He wasn't a full red. This is pretty much Kennedy's hair color though. So it's looking pretty good. The other thing I like to do is this first specular tint. You just want to make it a little bit darker. So his hair color is something like that, and you just want to go into it maybe here. And you see how it's no longer a white reflection. That might even be too far, so you can come down a little bit. But if you turn this all the way up, obviously, it'll reflect into that orange color, which we don't want. We just want it to not be fully white. Okay? And so now we've got, you know, that's pretty good. That's really good, actually. Okay? And so we'll say save. Now we're going to add his eyebrows. Okay, so we do the same thing. We go to the outliner and we go to the eyebrow mesh and we unhide it. And these things, sometimes for working with them, they have to be unhidden, so they can't be hidden. All right, so we've now got the eyebrow mesh selected. We're going to do the same thing. Generate interactive groom splines. Okay, and we're going to name these eyebrows or eyebrow. And we don't change settings here because it doesn't always work if you do. So we've got this terrible eyebrows, and we go about doing basically the same thing. Some differences because eyebrows are different. All right, eyebrows are thicker. So make sure you go to attribute, and remember you want to be in interactive groom to find these things. So we click on eyebrow again. We're trying to find the width. Okay, the width of an eyebrow might be 0.25. Okay, and we want the density to be a little bit higher, so we might do 17. And so now we've got our eyebrows, right? And we have the same thing, right? We want to do a density mask. So here's our density mask. We click here, and we're going to say density mask eyebrow. Okay, again, we want it to be JPEG. And we want it a little bit higher, and we want to put it in the Kennedy folder. So that's good. And then we say create. Okay, and this allows us to now start painting using our paint tool. But remember, the first thing I like to do is I like to flood it black. Okay, this prevents a number of errors that were happening. And now we paint where we want the hair. So obviously we're going to need a smaller brush. So I hit B, and then I scroll left with my mouse. And now, watch this. So, okay, and he's kind of got an eyebrow shape. And you can fine tune that or not. Now those are fairly long and they need to be tapered. So to taper them, we have to go file. Where the hell is that tape? Oh, I forget. Oh, we gotta remember, oh, this is showing me the mask. Oh, that's really cool. But we want to start changing some settings. So we have to click over here on the arrow, because if you're on Paint, you aren't able to select things. Okay, and we go to Attribute, and here's what we want, the width ramp. Okay, you see how the ends of these things are squares. Well, we want to turn them into almost points. If you go all the way to a point, it actually slows the machine down a lot. So you go almost a point. And you bring up this, and then you just take the base down a little bit. Okay? And so if you look closely at it, it should be a little skinnier here and a lot skinnier at the top. Okay, and that will probably look pretty good. Now, I don't know if the density is all right, but the first thing I would do is start combing this. So let's comb this. Oh, be very careful here though, right? The comb right now, this happens all the time, will only affect the head hair. Look at that. It won't affect the eyebrows. It's because you have to go into your sculpt layers and click Edit for the sculpt layer for the eyebrows. Here we go. This is something you also might want to do with the symmetry set, or not, but we're going to do it without, just because we're having fun here. Okay, and that's not looking great, but there's some tricks to fix some of that. And we'll do the other one. Maybe definitely my brush is too strong here. All right, so we could lower that, and it's too big, so hit B, scroll left, and we'll just, we want to mess this up a little bit. I know these eyebrows are perfect, right? Straighten that out over there. And, yeah. Alright. This one's just way too nice, right? We messed it up by making it nice. That's very weird. Alright. Now, here's the other time. So you want to grab your... Oh, we also don't like the color, right? That's... You need to change. So you click on eyebrow, then you right click here. Let's try it again. Oh, you need to be hitting arrow. It's always something I forget. Click on eyebrow, then right click and say assign existing material. We're going to use the same scalp hair that we have. All right, so that's got the same color. And if we Arnold render it, it's probably going to be looking okay. Yeah, look at that. All right, so it's not noisy enough. So one of the first things you're going to do, and even up here you may want to apply it, but definitely for your eyebrows, is you're going to want to add a modifier, a noise modifier. So here we go. You can see that already messed it up some, right? And I'm actually kind of happy with its default setting, but you can go into the noise and you can really jack it up, right? And sometimes it's too far at 1, so you might want to lower it. But in this case, 1 looks okay. Okay. The other thing we want to do is we want to get our length brush. And I didn't do this on the hair, but I'm going to do it here. I'm going to make the hair shorter by setting the tool settings and saying increment at -0.0. Let's make this lower because it was too strong. 2. And I'm going to lower the strength a little bit, and I'm going to shorten. See that? Look at that. So cool. Some of these hairs maybe at the beginning. Okay. These still too long. The whole thing's a little long. We definitely want it sort of tapering at the end. Okay. And maybe up here at the top, those are too long. Okay, so we're gonna, oh, I have the symmetry brush on, so nice. They've got both sides. All right. Those are really long for that little random spot, so I'm going to shrink them. And voila, we've done the eyebrows, okay? And they're probably going to look fairly good. So let me hit save, and let me Arnold render. Okay, so we're starting to look decent. Look at that. Okay, I'd say the eyebrows aren't perfect. They need work, and the hair's not perfect, but that's a good start. So, and I've showed you a number of things that video might not show you. So let me stop recording.